What if I told you that truth cannot be found in a book or in the words of someone else, but can only truly be found within yourself? We are going deep, my friends. Welcome back to Thrive Ada, your home for everything mind, body, spirit, so we can live our most inspirational and empowering lives. And I am glad to be back here with you again, my friends, after a week-long hiatus. And I want to ask each of you, do you ever stop long enough to really ask yourself, are these things that I've maybe believed in my whole life, are they true? If this kind of content interests you, my friends, please do send me a like down below so that many people get to see this video. If we give it just a little bit of thought, we might quickly realize that most of what we believe is truly secondhand knowledge. But what if I were to tell you that there is indeed a way that you could determine whether your experiences and your knowledge, whether they're actually true? And we're going to go into this later in the video, so please do stay till the end. While many of us in society nowadays think in black or white, there are many shades of gray in between, and truth functions very much in the same way, as in, yes, there is an objective reality, but being human, there is no way for us to fully grasp the truth until we are probably not in this physical world anymore. And even then, for experience to even happen, there have to be layers and layers of distortion, like ripples in a smooth, serene sea. But it is, in fact, these levels of distortion away from the core of truth that allows experience to even happen. As in, imagine a sphere, or perhaps even the Big Bang, with the truth right in the dead center. And as you move further and further away from that initial heart of truth, things become further and further distorted. Some say, in fact, the matter-filled world is on the periphery of this truth, which can be seen as the heart, the soul, or the spirit of all of creation. Perhaps to look at this a different way, we can look at two types of truth. There is the personal truth, such as the subjective truth of you or I, and then there's the objective truth, which we can never completely comprehend as anything that we see or experience through our senses is in fact already a distortion, as it has to be filtered through our brain and body. Another way to look at this version of truth is that every human being, every being in the whole universe, has a unique angle, as if we're all looking at the same sphere of truth, but from different sides with different magnifying glasses. And hence why it's actually very important to incorporate other people's ideas, but not just one other person, but many. In fact, the more, the merrier. Another cliche, two heads are better than one. All these kind of apply here. Now, if you spend enough time really delving into this in your own bit of silence, really asking this question, allowing the answers to come, you may quickly realize that truth is almost a synonym for creation, for everything we experience in this world and beyond. So how do we become more aware of the truth? Well, the answer was in the question, because to become more aware of the truth, we simply have to become more aware. It's like taking that magnifying glass and zooming out of that beach ball sphere. We are now seeing more of it. So by becoming more aware, by becoming more conscious, we also start to recognize truth. And this has been shown that people who can access the alpha wave brain state versus the beta wave brain state, the anxious kind of flighty brain state that most of us are taught to be in, especially with the overconsumption of coffee and things that truly make our heart rate variability very much incoherent, as in when we become chaotic and when thoughts are beginning to control us rather than the other way around. That is the state that most of us live in, and in that state it becomes very difficult to know what the truth is. Now, if that's done for one reason or another, that's a whole nother story. But it has been shown that the alpha wave brain state allows us to decipher what is true to a much higher degree. In fact, different levels of quote unquote the truth or reality itself become accessible through these different brain wave states, or in some cases referred to as trance states, something that shaman and all kinds of breathwork practitioners are now becoming more and more aware of, or have simply been aware of this for thousands upon thousands of years. As we become more conscious, it's very much similar to a single cell realizing that they actually complement billions and trillions of other cells that create one body. By becoming more conscious, we automatically become more compassionate and more loving, because love is another synonym for truth. For love is the binding factor, the glue that allows information to be passed on, in this case, from cell to cell. Hence, why it is so important to give yourself love. Now, for a few direct ways where you could find the truth easier is by quieting the ripples of the mind, the further distortions from another synonym of truth, which is silence, the language of divinity itself, of source. In those quiet moments, we can now see through the ripples into the core of truth as the water has relaxed and subsided. Hence why meditation is such a powerful tool. Once again, I will link my meditation down below, which will help you do exactly this and much, much more. Another way you could recognize truth more easily is by spending time in nature, which automatically gets us out of that beta wave brain state, and once again will allow us to naturally feel in our body through the powerful tool of gnosis what is the truth. Finally, another way you could do this is once again incorporating the diversity of viewpoints and getting a larger overall picture of the truth, and that is through compassion, or another way of looking at it is by putting ourselves in other people's shoes. In a way, we start to become the other person so we can understand the viewpoint from their angle. This is kind of similar to the practice of Australian Aboriginal people as well as Native Americans, who understood the idea of the animal totem and how they would mimic the behavior of certain animals, in some cases to learn how to hunt them, and in other cases to gain some of their skills. We're essentially, through sympathetic resonance, becoming the frequency of whatever we are trying to understand on a deeper level. So, my friends, you have the tools to know the truth in yourself. They've been there from the beginning, and you've used it all throughout your life. The only difference is now we're going to become more conscious of this ability, and no longer will we be steered by the whims of others or by the unconscious mind. So, I wish you a happy journey. Don't forget to check out my meditation down below. I believe it will really help you with this specifically. If you enjoyed this video in any way, please do share it with anyone you think it might help. I hope you're having a wonderful week and continue to do so. I will see you on the next one, my friends.